8100 here, 3v3, Estia Province, blue team, triple Space Marines. First up is Adila, plays a Techmarine, starts off range combat, puts out some good damage, can also support with structures and repair. And this is, I believe, the Ultramarines DLC from Relic, although the Techmarine never gets much love with the army schemes, does he? Alongside Matouzka is an Apothecary, support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. This is the Lunar Wolves elite scheme. And rounding off the blue team, Morgan, MLGman, also known as Adeptus Nubus, rocking a Force Commander, very good offense, fights in melee combat, can also tank, disrupt and support with buffs. Some Blood Ravens on show, and as you can see in 2.5, the Force Commander gets the portrait of Gabriel Angelos, although he still wears the helmet so you can't see his head. Red team, Haidran is a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt with some awesome offense and a little bit of support too. Looks like he's taking some shots from the Techmarine, is now backing off, waiting for his termagants. Alongside Qwest as an Inquisitor, offensive commander, lots of great snares and stuns, can control extremely well, starts in melee combat but can get ranged weapons, a little bit of support too. She's missing her hat and her cape. Is this the no, I'm not sure what this is. Oh, it's the Catechins elite scheme, I guess. She doesn't get a cape with it. Interesting. She doesn't have a hat because the hat is now a rank unlock in elite scheme, in elite mod I should say. Alongside and rounding off the red team is Shtyrmovik as a very angry Warboss, a melee commander that can walk through objects on very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines. We need to try and control this guy or he can wreak havoc. Adila's going to be on this west side then, as a Techmarine could be good. I don't think it's a good place over here to put an early turret because it's easily, you can easily get around the firing up, but a beacon behind these shot blockers over here would be pretty good. It's a 2v2 fight right now. We have double tactical marines, or one from each player I should say. The Inquisitor is forced off, the Lictor Alpha is pretty low, Apothecary is right in there though, and blue team's still well in this. They've got tactical marines in the garrison, both of them getting out, and now they can sit behind some heavy cover. These sandbags are heavy cover and try and outshoot this stuff. That was a grenade attempt from Adila's scouts. Adila pretty good with his grenades, of course. Lictor Alpha goes infiltrated and backs away. What's going on east side? Power being bashed right here. If you put a setup team in these garrisons, you can help defend your power, but I don't think it will reach far enough to cover it completely. It might just about cover the node if you put Devastators in there or something, but the attacking player can still quite easily come in from the side here and attack your gens. He does have Devastators up though to try and control this Warboss. The Warboss on decapping duty might go down if he's not careful. The shooters will try and finish a decap but weren't able to. If he wasn't decapping with his Warboss and spotted the Devastators coming in, could have gone and tied them up maybe, but he was pretty low anyway. Scouts with shotguns can instantly suppress something and knock it back, which is pretty useful against sluggers and a Warboss. We have warriors on the field from Haidran over on this west side in their melee state, which is their default state, with some power melee weapons. I believe 18 DPS or 20 DPS, something like that. Sentinel backing off does get the ground pound. We have these pretty cool looking assault marines with these old school big bulky jump packs in amongst some guardsmen here. The Sentinel looking for a stomp opportunity. It looks like he's just going to stare at the assault marines until they back the hell off. Some heavy cover they could use, but here come the Tyranids. Where is Adila? He's over on the west side with his Techmarine. And now Matouzka off the field. Adila might get a 2-1 against him. Needs to be careful about that. Obviously you want to hold your power, and early on Space Marines can come under huge amounts of pressure from Tyranids and Orks. And if that pressure leads to them losing power, it can be a slippery slope from then on. But as we can see on this east side, Morgan doing well, pushing forward with his Devastators, and Flamer Tactical Marine is going to do some power bashing of his own, is he? Nope. Here comes Shtyrmovik. Looks like he went mid momentarily to have a look or something. He's going straight for the power here, I think. Sluggers have their burners, they can burn it down. But doesn't really have an easy answer to this Devastator. Could have, of course, always use flanking. There's generally a lot of space to get around turrets and set up teams and stuff on Estia. So we'll see if he does. He could come in behind here, but he's too busy bashing gens. The Warboss now needs to tie something up. Gets a shotgun to the face, and the Devastators will now keep him at bay, and quite rightly retreats out. No point losing more health there, I don't think. He is defending his power though, but for how long? Only shooters standing in the way, and they have no upgrades whatsoever. Going straight for his Pain Boy here. Not sure that was the best choice with Devastators already on the field, but he might follow that up with some Storm Boys. We'll see. Storm Boys supported by a Warboss and a Pain Boy can be pretty hellacious to deal with. Inquisitor with a Holy Brazier. 464, 417. No cap on this side. Adila is... oh, he's got a turret up. As you can see, it's pretty easily gone around here. Although, as an enemy player, you cannot see the firing arc, so it's always a bit of a risk if you try and go around something. It doesn't... you might not even know that it's there. This Imperial God player, Qwest. Got some gens up in the middle there from the red team, and they're bashing the natural power of the blue team on this side. Adila needs to respond, but he's caught up in this engagement. Holy Pyre goes off. There is a shotgun blast. No, that was the old reliable. In fact, it did not suppress that stuff. Pathogens might go down. Looks like they are going to barely get away, I think. Down to 26 hit points. They should be fine. The Assault Marines cannot jump again. Just fighting in this Holy Pyre does damage over time and a debuff to the damage of the enemy player. I think it's 20% debuff, which is pretty damn good and lasts a long time. As you can see, there it goes. 464 to 470 still. There's a no cap on this side. Morgan pushing quite well here and bashes power and decaps it completely. Nicely done. Now flaming some shooters up, but they're getting shot to pieces themselves. Devastator doing a good job though. Not sure what Shtyrmovik is trying to achieve here. And runs away. Devastators are just going to sit here, I guess. Why not? They have full health. And oh, Shtyrmovik's gone straight to tier 2. Morgan going tier 2 also is halfway there. That is the Purification Vials from the Apothecary. Can be absolutely devastating to enemy light infantry in tier 1. Tyranids can pretty much shake it off in tier 2 though when they get their specialized synapse, which buffs health pretty considerably. And they start leveling and stuff. Assault Squad getting away with 3 models on 25 hit points really. Oh, down goes 1. But they're still okay. Drop pod from someone. Adila, I guess. Yep. Is it more Tactical Marines or just a reinforcing one? It's more Tactical Marines. The Techmarine did get some changes in 2.5. His plasma gun is now slightly cheaper, which is good for him. It's a pretty devastating weapon. His bionics, though, got some changes. The powerful sweep now does slightly less damage and has a slightly longer cooldown on its ability. That's from bionics. Force Commander with Artificer Armor. He also got a cost increase on the Venerable Dreadnought from 50 power to 100, which is a pretty significant increase. Double the power cost on that thing. Not sure what the thinking behind it was, but that is now in effect. The Assault Squad down to almost half hit points. It is, of course, a very powerful melee walker with 1750 hit points out the gate. It did also get a cost decrease on its Dark Age of Technology upgrade, so you can get it up to that 2000 hit points a little bit cheaper. Although the initial cost being double the power is pretty significant. These Tactical Marines really trying to bash power with Tyranids right there. I guess they are. They got down 2 gens, but now need to run the hell off. Assault Marines also need to back the hell off. Matouzka is still here, but he's now going to have to fight Tyranids alongside an Inquisitor here. Now you saw the Hammer of the Witches. Lictor Alpha being handled relatively well earlier and does now have feeder tendrils though, which are pretty terrifying. Almost 64 power melee DPS with a self-heal on hits. 1.5% of his maximum health, so it does scale with how tough the Lictor Alpha is. The Lictor Alpha was reduced to 600 hit points in 2.5, down from 630. That's why he's got 700 now with adrenal glands. 460, 415. Scouts getting away, I think. Yeah, can't get any more hits on. That drop pod is going to act as a reinforcement point, I think, for Adila's stuff. Pretty sure that's still a thing. They're going to go and bash it. Get some... Do you get XP for taking down the drop pod? I would hope so. You do get some red for it. Razorback on the field for Morgan. This could be great for him over on this east side. Bundle into it, drive up and bash gens as he keeps the Orc busy elsewhere maybe. Pain Boy has a damage over time melee weapon. It's no longer power melee, I'm pretty sure. Does have a great heal over time ability. And in tier 2 automatically unlocks his unstable fuel injection, which will detonate a friendly model for some good damage and knockback. Sluggers are generally the target for that. He can Or at least he used to be able to detonate himself, which was kind of hilarious. Not sure if you can still do that. It's pretty orky though. I hope they kept that in. I think it can only target orcs as well. 460, 398. There is a bug at the moment in 2.5 with orcs in that they're, what's it called again? Call the boys, that's right. Works on all allies, when in fact it should only work on orcs. That's been fixed for whenever 2.5.1 comes out. Apothecary is still level 1, but does have a Dreadnought on the field, Matouzka, and red team need to deal with that. We do have Ogrins on the field for Qwest, but they won't really want to tangle in melee with this guy. We see the Gene Stealers up. One of the big changes for Tyranids is the fact that Gene Stealers can now get Rending Claws in tier 2. That's right, they can get heavy melee up in tier 2, which is pretty damn awesome for them. They did get a lot of changes to their ability Adrenal Rush though. It's now generally not as good. Obviously countering the fact they can get heavy melee in tier 2 now. Also massive changes to their zone throw. Down goes the Dreadnought, I think. Taking shots from a las cannon. Down it goes indeed. The zone throat now got some pretty sizable nerfs really. Up to 60 power. Its focus warp blast no longer snares vehicles either, which would have been pretty devastating with heavy melee Gene Stealers around. Although some people have commented that it makes transports quite difficult to deal with. Those early tier 2 vehicles without that snaring zone throat. We'll see how it goes in this game. We have Librarians for Adila and one for Matouzka. The Dreadnought down is a big blow. Always a massive deal to lose a walker, but especially for Space Marines who need to pick their units carefully in tier 2. And that's a big dump of resources. Lictor Alpha in there. Level 2 now has Pheromones, which as you can see debuffs enemies in a target area by 30%, which is pretty sizable and allows you to reinforce. Pretty awesome piece of war gear. I think it says allied infantry. Does that work for everyone or is it just Tyranids? If you go by what's written, it's everyone on your team. Not sure though. Power Claw Warboss taking down Devastators, and that would have been very satisfying for that big orc, because those guys were a pain in the ass for Shtyrmovik's Warboss. Morgan now looking slightly thin with Tactical Marines, a Razorback and Scouts. The Force Commander himself is, I guess, inside the Razorback. Tank Busters might take it down. Yes, he was in there. Razorback needs one more shot from the Tank Busters. Down it goes, but here goes in fact the Power Claw I think got the last hit. We do see the Force Commander with Thunderhammer, Artificer and Teleporter pack. The Thunderhammer's nerfed. Now its special attack only tracks up to 12 meters radius, which was pretty justified. I think was pretty crazy to see him wipe out squads from halfway across the map because he started his animation way earlier. Kicking off in the middle over this contested power. Usually don't see a lot of action over this power, but we have triple gens up. Red team are going to want to steal that or bash it or something. His Tactical Marines in a bad place. Gene Stealers in retreat path with their Adrenal Gland Warriors alongside, so they have melee Synapse, which, what does it do now? How much more health? 40% more health, and increases melee skill by 10, which will take the Gene Stealers up to 90 melee skill, I believe, which is the highest in the game unless you count Orks buffed by user choppers, because I think that's a 35 melee skill increase, which is pretty crazy. Assault Squad up to level 2 with their Sergeant. That's a Whirlwind doing its thing from Matouzka. Morgan now down to just 2 units, having lost his Razorback, but he is going tier 3. Has a lot of requisition, so is ready to rebuy power whenever he needs to. Red team are stealing this one though. Some blob capping here. That's some serious blob capping. Gene Stealers, Warriors and the Lictor Alpha. Scouts do get away, yes they do. Techmarine level 4 has his Bionics up, but runs away. Could have stayed in play there, I think. There was heavy cover right beside him. Tyranids being aggressive, jumping in. Merciless Strike doesn't hit very well, but now they can tie up those termagants. Big smite going off. Lictor Alpha being knocked around. Do both of those players have a Scout Sergeant? They do. They both have means to spot this guy. If the Scouts are around, of course. Adilas were recently forced to retreat. Big blob of melee Tyranid stuff. Pretty damn scary. And that is a Capillary Tower. The Capillary Tower was also changed. No longer gives the tiny damage reduction it used to give. I think it was a few percent damage reduction. Maybe it was more than that, but it no longer gives that. Still gives you the awesome sight range buff and the speed buff though. And you can produce the spore mines and rippers out of it. Something I always forget to do. I don't think I've ever done it. Completely forget that they're there. Oh, down goes the librarian. Both of them are down. Or did Matouzka not finish his? Maybe he got the whirlwind instead. 417, 287. Triple cap though for the Space Marines. Morgan needs to defend his power, but won't be able to, I don't think. Going to be taken down by tank busters and melee things. And the sluggers are decapping, but it's still kicking off mid. Have an Imperial Guard bunker has been stolen. And now retaken by Catechins, I think. Yep. It's a medical bunker, you can tell because of all the green hexagons around everything, because that's some health regen going on. So now all that stuff can reinforce off it. I need to try and get this power back if they can. Whirlwind, going to make that pretty difficult. What a range it has. Red team struggling to kind of get past this point. They keep coming back here for a big fight and unable to push on to this VP so far, but we'll see what happens. Qwest looking pretty thin. Double guardsmen and Catechins just called in some stormtroopers though from the global bar of the Inquisitor. And we know how powerful the Imperial Guard tier 3 can be. It's a very good map for tanks in general, so Leman Russes supported by bunkers can dominate the mid quite well. Force Commander doing his thing, trying to shoot him down. He's getting debuffed by something. Is that the trophy rack? It is the trophy rack. Pretty good way to deal with dangerous melee commanders like the Force Commander, I guess. It's a 25% damage reduction. I thought it was 35. Still pretty good though. Knocks a quarter off your damage. Techmarine gets away. Still level 4, that guy. Capillary Towers popping up all over the gaff. And using pheromones there was a Lictor Alpha. He might want a bunker closer to this side, Qwest. Not sure how much the bunkers cost. They do have this power though, which is pretty dangerous. Because now Qwest has gone tier 3. What's their power income, the red team? Plus 64 compared to, they've double the power income of the blue team because he needs to rebuild his power over here. Terminators or Predator says Matouzka, I would get a Predator tank here. Terminators will be torn apart by the Gene Stealers. But we'll see what it goes for. Morgan has got Terminators though. Regular Terminators, that's a weird one. Orks can deal with regular Terminators pretty damn well in tier 3. They have a tank, they have flash kits with their blasters and knobs of course. So we'll see how that pans out. I would have got a tank over here. Maybe he's scared of these tank busters. Level 2 these tank busters now. Carnifex on the way for Haidran. Whoa, someone just got shot to pieces. Was that Shooter Boys? I believe it was. Sloppy from Shtyrmovik. Goes straight after the Force Commander. No, he's being knocked around. Pain Boy ran into some Terminators and now he's getting Power Fist to his jaw and goes down. He did not suppress the Force Commander with the shooters, so he's done some good work, but does go down, but he doesn't have anything left to really push after that. Storm Bolters of these Terminators cannot be underestimated. I think they're around about 45 piercing DPS each, which is pretty nuts. Whirlwind trying to stay away from heavy melee Gene Stealers. These guys have not leveled yet, but they've been pretty scary. Assault Marines jumping in there and immediately backing the hell off. 362, 214, 2-1 cap for the red team. Do blue team have what it takes to get back in here? Oh, Adila with a Land Raider Redeemer on the way, and this west side of course is a great place for it. Has a lot of space to maneuver, and of course it's supporting a contested VP, which is good. Qwest with a Leman Russ on the way and a Land Raider Redeemer for Morgan also. Terminators have done really well so far. Shtyrmovik in fact looking very thin. Not sure if Shtyrmovik can still contest that east side very well. He's trying to shoot this power up, and I'm sure he wants to get knobs or something. 339, 214. He lost his Pain Boy though. Might be better to get flash kits. They will draw the teleport from the Force Commander, but it will let the Warboss get in amongst some Terminators and Tactical Marines and things. I think he's making a mistake over there, Shtyrmovik, from getting preoccupied with that Force Commander. He needs to kind of suppress him, wait for him to use his battle cry, suppress him and kind of leave him alone, and try and chase down other things with your melee. Got to try and shoot this guy down, not fight him in melee combat. He's level 3 now, the Force Corner, very nearly level 4. Orks in the middle. There's Swampum from the Sluggers, increasing their speed and giving them some range damage resistance. But here comes that Force Corner again. 60 energy, I think, to use his teleporter. He's got 150 energy because of Artificer. Pretty nuts. Sluggers in trouble on retreat. Boom, there's that special attack from the Thunderhammer tracking them. Land Raider Redeemer is on the field for Adila, and Morgans is hitting the field right now. There it is. What does he do with his? I guess push mid a little bit or something. Shooter's just capped over there. Red team again blobbing up hugely around this power. Not sure why. Maybe they're trying to make a run at this power. I guess they already have this VP, so why sit around it? Try and bring the fight somewhere else maybe. Whirlwind getting a good shot and massive domino knockback there. Scouts decapping under infiltration and will now be revealed as they try and cap. But not much here to dissuade them from doing so. They might get the cap there, blue team. Red team not responding at all. Oh, turret going up from Adila. It looks like he lost the one that was here quite a while ago. Oh, Neurotrope on the way for Haidran. What is the Carnifex doing? It's got Venom Cannon, Leman Russ and Venom Cannon and Heavy Melee. We'll see how long this Land Raider Redeemer can survive. It's got the Frag Assault, of course, to stop things getting close. And here's a Tarantula turret. Is he going to upgrade it to the missile turret? Might do a lot of work for them against the Carnifex and the Leman Russ. Need to not send these things in alone. Oh, Transformation. 284, 180. Not achieving a whole lot there. You need to follow it up with a push. And here comes the push. Slightly late. You want to kind of follow it up while things are still getting knocked around. But they're moving in. And here comes Qwest, I think, to back him up. Those Stormtroopers aren't moving. Very sluggish advance from the red team there. They should have moved in a little bit quicker, I think. But we're now seeing it kick off big time. The Leman Russ and the Carnifex trying to target that Land Raider. They might not be able to take it down, but they might get it low enough so that Adila decides to pull it out of this general area. Lictor Alpha is capping. Genestealer's doing nothing right now. There are the Warriors. The Warriors are forced off, so they don't have melee synapse anymore. Caught some Assault Marines though. Genestealers, of course, do infiltrate automatically when they stay idle for, I think it's 8 seconds or so. Pathogens also have that trait. Leman Russ trying to finish off the Land Raider down to 19 hit points, and he did get it. Nicely done. The red team, although sluggishly advancing, as I said, have advanced well, and here comes some knobs from Shtyrmovik on that east side. With their huge hammers and their knob leader, they are pretty damn ferocious. We have a Predator tank with las cannons trying to get shots on those knobs, but they are running right alongside that Warboss there. Warboss, of course, debuffing everything with a trophy rack, and he now has heavy armor up to very nearly 2,000 hit points at level 4. Pretty crazy. Lots of stuff died there. Where's the other Land Raider at? It's kind of sitting in mid. Terminator's capping, and Morgan is going after this natural VP, which I think is the right thing to do. He's also decapping over here, so he's staying busy. Has also taken his power. So big push on the west side for red, but Morgan takes the opportunity to push mid a little bit. Adila lost the Land Raider. What else did he lose? Not sure. I think he lost something else over here, or maybe that was just models being lost, not a whole squad. 261, 163, 1-to-1 cap. Still nicely poised for a big finish. Leman Russ is still rocking level 2. Carnifex survived back at base, healing up. What's this? Scouts being very cheeky, getting very close. Land Raider Redeemer got some big changes in 2.5. Those heavy flamers, flame storm cannons, I think they're called, now suppress units, which is pretty good. The multi-melter on top has increased damage. I think it's a 100 damage per shot, up from 80. But the Land Raider no longer gives the damage resistance aura that it used to give. I believe it was 25%, although it wasn't visually shown with an effect, I don't think. But that is gone. So now it's a little more potent in its weapons, but has a little less support. Haidran's taking a lot of damage, need to run away. There we go. Submarine's jumping in. And going to tie up one of these pretty dangerous plasma gun guardsmen. Fully upgraded with plasma guns, they can tear through heavy infantry pretty nicely. More Terminators being called in, this time from Adila. Maybe we'll see a Venerable drop later on. Would be good for fighting his Gene Stealers and his Warriors. That is the Neurothrope. Needs to regain energy from using its abilities, of course. Unique among units and does not naturally regenerate its energy. Pretty awesome unit against triple Space Marines, of course, with Paroxysm doing lots of work, potentially. Wasn't actually paying attention in that push whether it did anything. I'm sure it did. Force Commander trying to fight Knobs and a Warboss and Sluggers. Not going to work out too good for him. He needs to use one of these knockbacks to retreat, I think. Also having his damage debuffed by Trophyrak. He's going to die. 240 to 138. Can he retreat out here? Nope. Here come more Knobs from Shtyrmovik. Double Knobs supported by the Warboss is pretty scary. They are running right into this scary blob of Space Marine stuff though. Double tanks, Land Raider Redeemer and Terminators. And those Flamestorm cannons alongside the Terminators Assault Cannon is going to suppress things pretty quickly. Here come Assault Terminators, and they of course can get their Lightning Claws to fight those Knobs pretty well. It's also kicking off on the west side, 240 to 119. Melter Bomb on the Leman Russ there. They need to try and stabilize on this west side blue team. Much easier said than done with the Land Raider gone. And no sign of a beacon from Adila. I guess he doesn't think he can defend it well. That turret also did go down. Yes, it did. Warrior Brood at level 3 trying to cap, taking a hell of a lot of damage from that Flamer. Wow. They did get away with that model loss though. That was, oh, Cataclysm from the Neurothrope. That's that green crap on the ground. Does damage over time and knockback. Obviously does not knock back Terminators though. It's weapon knockback. Carnifex backing away. They did take a model off those Terminators, but there's a lot of stuff mingling around here from Morgan. Double Terminators, one of each type, with Assault Cannon and a Land Raider Redeemer. Double Knobs. Can they get close enough though to this Land Raider with those newly suppressing Flamestorm cannons and the suppressing Assault Cannon from the Terminators also? 240, 103, not to mention the Frag Assaults. We now have the Mastercrafted Bolter from the Techmarine, as is a suppress on demand with high powered shot, almost 38 piercing DPS. Blue team looking pretty good now. They have kind of stabilized over here. Don't have this wreck point, but that's alright. I feel like Qwest needs to get, oh, I was gonna say he needs to get another Leman Russ up, but he just lost the one he had. That's a rocket run. Achieving very little. It doesn't do a lot of damage to vehicles since it's covering a large area kind of thing. Of course, going ballistic on some Orks. He's level 6. That's an orbital. Where the hell has he placed it? Catches himself. Oh no, he doesn't, because Battle Cry is active. So it doesn't lift him up. This is a massive push though from the red team, going after both of the Predators. Can they get them both? Venom Cannon Carnifex can't get close enough to fire, and that Predator tank lives. Down goes a Lictor Alpha. Jumping on the Neurothrope is going to go down here. I think, maybe. Lives? Really? 4 hit points saved by that Purgatus there. Nicely done, Qwest. That was from the Purgatus piece of war gear. Also has the Servo Skull, which got a pretty interesting change. Now, whenever she hits something in melee, that target is revealed on your minimap for, I believe, 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So that's pretty cool. Gives you some more surveillance and stuff. Carnifex doing well. I'm sure he'd love to get another one, but he's actually gone for a tier 3 Lictor. Repurchasing his Lictor Alpha. Still has his Neurothrope. Pretty lucky escape. Blue team, though, on the front foot here. Warboss hits level 5, up over 2,000 hit points, but dies. Not sure what you're trying to do there. 2-to-1 cap for blue team. They should be able to see this out, but it looks like one more pretty sizable push from the red team coming. Qwest really slowed down once he got that Leman Russ. Couldn't really get anything else up onto the field. What did these Stormtroopers get? They got Assault Kit. Land Raider did lose almost half of his hit points, now being frantically repaired by the Techmarine and those Scouts. Nob Squad just cannot get close. Look at these Flamers doing work. Down they go. Assault Terminators with their Thunderhammers, now switching to Lightning Claws, are just tearing things apart. They're going to do that even faster with Lightning Claws now. Yeah, they could not push against that Land Raider. Why were they trying to push against the Land Raider? Why not push over here? Move the Land Raider will be forced to defend there, and then he can maybe push the natural VP. Hard to think clearly in the midst of a battle. You want to fight where the fight is instead of thinking it through and going where it's clear. Might have cost them here. 222 to 33, and red team looking very low. Couple of rosters down to 3 units, down to 2 units. Blue team even pushing through to their natural, although Catagens are there. Does their shotgun blast not suppress? These guys weren't suppressed there. 222 22. Going for the win, our blue team. Predator tank here, lucky to survive. We have another Land Raider Redeemer up for Matouzka, and he's getting yet another Predator tank. Estia, the land of the tanks. Down goes that Lehman Russ, I think. One more shot, down it goes, yep. And they have got this game, the blue team. Pretty cool ending. Adila chasing into the base, trying to finish off that Neurothrope, I think. Oh, there's Paroxysm. Almost taking out that tier 3 Lictor. But there is the game. Let's look at the heroes at the end. Level 7 Techmarine with the plasma gun. He switched to it. Also has a refractive field. We have Matouzka, Apothecary with combat stims. Oh, that might be why those tactical marines weren't suppressed by that shotgun blast, and they might have had combat stims on them. Force Spawner level 7. Level 7 Lictor Alpha with corrosive claws at the end. Level 4 Inquisitor and a level 5 Warboss. Shtyrmovik could not hold it down on his east side. Lost a lot of stuff, which allowed Morgan to swing into the middle and put even more pressure on Haidran and Qwest. And I think that kind of built up over time and they just could not deal with it. Maybe could have gone for the west side at the end there and tried to split up the blue team a little bit, but blue team take it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.